going to do a second recliner reflections today because something else kind of came to mind. I was at an appointment I had someplace yesterday, and there was a discussion going on. There were three guys who two of them had gotten into a conversation about something sort of political, and the third guy chimed in with his take on the situation and his 2 cents worth, I guess you could say, about what they were talking about. I won't get into what they were actually talking about, but he made some comments, and this was a younger guy. He was probably in his 20s. But anyway, he made some comments that made me have that scowled, cocked head. What? Simply because what he stated was just totally incorrect. I mean, it was not that he said something that was his opinion and I didn't agree with it. What he said was totally false. I mean, it sounded good from a standpoint of and he was very, yeah, here it is. This is the way it is. But I just I sort of looked at him and I didn't draw attention to him or anything, didn't say anything, but I was like, dude, you need to go back to school. You need to go back and take a class and understand how this works, because that's not the way this works. It got me to thinking about how the younger generation today, I hear a lot of this. I see a lot of this. There's an old saying about better to say nothing and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And that quote came to mind immediately when this guy made his statement, because when he said it, I was thinking, okay, if the two guys that are listening to him, they're actually in the conversation, if they have the knowledge that what he's saying is totally wrong, they're going to look at him and think, wow, you're an idiot. And I don't mean to be mean or degrading to the guy or anything like that, but just, that's just kind of the knee-jerk reaction you might have to something like that. And it's going to be, well, I'm not going to listen to the rest of what he says because he doesn't know what he's talking about. So, but it really got me to thinking about this, that younger people have this tendency to say things and to open their mouth. And I was the same way, don't get me wrong. When I was younger, I might have said things that older people that knew better would look at me and go, what did he just say? So I don't want to say that I'm perfect by any stretch, and even, though I'm 61 years old, I'm still might say something that's false. I hope not. I hope in a conversation similar to what he was, a serious conversation, that I would be able to articulate and actually say things that are accurate. Because I would like to be able to know that I have some knowledge to back up what I'm saying. But it really was just like, wow, really? Is that what you understand? And I'll say this much about what he said. Basically, he said Europe is a country. And I was like, what? What was your grade in high school geography? Or elementary geography? Europe is not a country. Europe is a continent made up of a group of countries. But anyway, again, I don't want to go into detail about their conversation. But if this person opened his mouth and said, Europe is a country, at that point, my listening to him turned into, I want to listen to him and hear his opinion and see if I agree with it or see if he has a valid point and maybe even change my mind. It turned from that to, I'm going to listen to this conversation and just see how unknowledgeable, and I'll use this word, and it's not really a derogatory, it's in the true sense, how ignorant this guy is. And when I say ignorant, if you look up the definition of ignorant, it really is not derogatory from a standpoint of, you know, it's not like calling him an idiot or a crazy lunatic or whatever. It's more of a, you just lack the knowledge, you lack the understanding, you don't know what you're talking about. So I wanted to see just how ignorant of all these facts he was. But there's another thing that really caught my attention. I'm 61, like I say, I'm 61 years old. And I have learned a lot in those 61 years. But I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, especially in my work, in my job that I do, and even beyond that, in just everyday life, at the end of the day, before I lay down to go to bed, I have the thought, usually in my mind, of, did I learn anything new today? And if I did, and most of the time, it's pretty obvious. There was something that I was on a conference call the other day, one day this week, and someone made a comment about, this is how I do a certain thing. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I hadn't thought of that. That makes sense. That's a good idea. I'm going to try that. So I learned something new. So it's pretty obvious. I didn't have to go back and reflect on that at the end of the day. I learned something new that day. But I have a tendency to go back to, did I learn something new today? And if I didn't, I feel like that I have not been as productive as I should have been that day. Because I want to continue to learn. And I will tell you that learning should only end when your heart stops beating. Now you can take that quote and post it all over Facebook, everywhere, and you can claim me as the guy who said it or what, I don't care. You can say anonymous, whatever, but it's true. Learning should never end until your heart stops beating. You should continually try to learn new things. You know, the video I did just before this, and you notice I've still got the same clothes on, I'm still driving down the road, so this is like 20 minutes after I did the last video. It was about confidence. And so this kind of ties in a little bit from the confidence level. You want to learn new things. You want to learn, again, I wanted to learn about ziplining, which was in my other video. And so I did. I learned about it. But I continually, things will be said or done, or I'll observe something and say, wow, I want to learn more about that. Okay, I'm just driving down the road. I'm going to pick out something here just off the top of my head. Okay, Ozark Realty Company. It's a realty company here. I want to learn, just out of curiosity, what does it take to become a realtor? Now, I a long time ago, was for a short time a real estate agent, and so I know what it takes to become a real estate agent. And there is a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. It's sort of like the difference between, I don't know if you understand this, but maybe it's a good example, but the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant. Okay. So anyway, just right off the top of my head, I saw that sign, and so it made me think, I wonder what it takes to become a realtor. What do you have to do? What are the steps? So I would, if I'm really curious about that, I'm not curious enough to actually do it, but if I was really curious enough about that, I would grab my phone after I stop, and I would Google how to become a realtor. And I would learn what it takes to become a realtor. And it is so funny to me that in this day and age, we have in the palm of our hand an absolute enormous amount of resources and information in the palm of our hands, in the form of a cell phone, a smartphone. I can literally pull over right now, Google, if I have a good signal, and I'm going to be in a not too long, not too distant future, I'm going to be in a place where it might be impossible, but because I wouldn't have cell service. But anyway, I could Google how to become a realtor. I could look at information, very credible information about that, understand what it takes to become a realtor in the palm of my hand. And that's what makes me wonder, because I'm 61 years old and I'm pretty tech savvy. I won't say I'm very tech savvy, but I'm pretty tech savvy because it's part of my job, okay? So I know how to use a smartphone. I know how to get on the internet and Google something. I know how to use those resources and everything. But it amazes me when I see younger people and what they can do with a smartphone. I'll give you an example. If you're there's a competition out there for a scholarship that basically you make a video. And I saw this video that this high school student had created, and it was like awesome. And I know it took them a while to do it, but I was like, wow, I wish I knew how to put that. There's another one. I wish I knew how to do that. I wish I knew how to make that type of video, because it was just awesome. You know, all the visual, all the in-your-face kind of things that were going on in that video to learn something. It wasn't just this girl sitting here, and it was a girl, by the way, a high school girl, who made the video. It wasn't just her sitting here in her truck driving down the road and talking to her cell phone. It was a very elaborate video teaching about things. I'll try to post a link to where I found this, because it's a very interesting website in the whole. And I actually have posted about it on Facebook, that you might be able to capture it. But it's SITC, Stall It in the Classroom. So STIC.org. So it's Stossel. He was a reporter. I can't think of his first name, but he was a reporter. And now he does this webcast thing. He makes these videos. And great guy, very smart guy. this STIC.org actually offers free videos to teachers to use in the classroom. And if you're a teacher or you have anything to do with education, or if you know someone, like my cousin is very involved in the educational system. I have several friends that are very involved in the educational system. And it's so worth it to share that with them, to share it and show them that there is a resource out there they could be missing, and they might really like to have it. And it's free, like I say. It's free to the educational system, free for teachers to use in the classroom. Anyway, but this video was just fantastic. But my point, going back kind of to my point again, was I'm so amazed that we have this tremendous resource that is way beyond when I was a teenager. We had the World Book Encyclopedia. You had the Encyclopedia Britannica. Both of those were available in our high school library. I actually had, I think I had World Book at home that my parents bought me. It's a tremendous resource in and of itself, but it was a collection of books, and you had to do a lot of research. Google was, I think that will start with a C, so let me pull the C volume and look it up under C and see if it's there, and no, it's not there. Well, maybe it's under R for what? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like Google. Just type in, hey, I want to learn how to become a realtor, and all this stuff pops up. Great resource, but in the palm of your hand, you have all of these resources, yet you chime in on a conversation and you show your ignorance right off the bat. And I just so wanted to say, grab your cell phone. I stayed out of the conversation, which I think is the right thing to do. I shouldn't have gotten involved because I wasn't part of the conversation. He jumped in the conversation, which I thought was a little bit rude. But nonetheless, he did it. That's fine. I don't care. The other two guys didn't seem to mind, so none of my business. But again, that's the whole thing. None of my business. I was just there and I heard the conversation. But I so wanted to just look at him and go, dude, do you have a cell phone? Can you Google Europe and tell me where it says that Europe is a country? Anyway, in the palm of your hand, you have this learning tool. Use it. So when somebody says something, and I do this a lot, or you see a Facebook post or a tweet, or you watch a video like this one, and you hear something like, Europe is a country. If that kind of goes, wait a minute, I thought Europe, or even if you're just curious, is Europe a country? I didn't know that. Get your cell phone, go to Google or whatever search engine you want to use. I'm just a Google fan. And Google it. Search it. Research it. Read. Watch videos. Listen to podcasts or videos or whatever. Listen to what people are saying. Read about it. And come to your conclusion. Is Europe a country? How do you become a realtor? What does it take to become a realtor? Whatever it is. How do I water ski? What does it take to become a skydiver? Whatever it is. What do you got to do to get into own your own business? All of those things. Right at the palm of your hand. Use it. And so again, the two things. Learning should never end until your heart stops beating. So continue to learn. Continue to work on expanding your knowledge and your wisdom. And the second thing, and probably as important, if not more important, it's best to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. So think before you open your mouth and comment. Is what I'm about to say actually true? Do I know? Do I have facts that back up what I'm saying? And if you don't, use your resources and learn. And one of the things that you need to do about learning is, I always say, read your Bible. So learn from it when you do read your Bible. If you only read one verse a day, read it, study it, use some resources. What does it mean? Get comments. Try to understand it, learn from it. So read your Bible, pray, and then when you've done all this learning and everything, and your brain is just tired, and you just need a break,